So my name's Nick McCafferty. I'm the Enterprise Acceleration Manager in our NatWest Accelerator hub in Leeds. So my role basically is focused around coaching the entrepreneurs that come through our accelerator hubs and then delivering workshops like you're going to hear today. So today's workshop and the focus of today is all around pitching and writing a great 60-second pitch. So for the next sort of 30 minutes, I'm going to take you through some really useful tips in terms of perfecting your pitch and creating a really strong 60-second pitch. And the session is going to be interactive as well. So please feel free to pop in the chat if you've got any questions, comments. I'm sure Heather and Adam can have a look and monitor. Or if you want to just interrupt me at any time, if you've got any questions, just come off mute and ask away anything. But yeah, today's session will give you a bit of a taster into pitching. And then the business builder modules that Adam was talking about in the beginning go into further detail in these topics as well. So if there's anything you want to learn a little bit more of, I'd encourage you to sign up to Business Builder and get started with the modules. So what we're going to look at today is the importance of a 60-second pitch and some content rules for you to follow in terms of what to include in your 60-second pitch. Building a really solid pitch structure, and then the key techniques that really help with a strong pitch delivery. So first and foremost, quick question for you. If you can put in the chat or if anyone wants to come off mute, but in your experience, when might you need a pitch? When might you be asked for a 60-second pitch or asked to tell about your business? So if you can put in the chat what you think. Or if you want to come off mute. Let's see. What have we got? Heather, can you see any responses in the chat? What are you getting?
Sorry, I was on mute there. No one yet, but I'm just having a quick another look.
I can see. So Natalie and Emma have both said networking. Emma's just said in a lift.
Spot on, Natalie. Yeah, so networking in a lift, elevator pitch. When it comes to sales and selling to customers, marketing your business, there's loads of different uses for a pitch. And really the answer to when you might need a pitch is all the time. You know, any business owner, you're always going to be asked for your pitch, what you do. And it can come at you, can be sprung at you anytime. And that's why having a really strong 60-second pitch is so useful, because you can just pull it out at any time, any place, and it's really succinct and clear. Why do we challenge businesses on our accelerator to do a 60-second pitch? It's basically because if you can describe your business in 60 seconds, then you can describe it in any time. You can mold and merge that to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. So the hardest part is the 60-second pitch. And if you can really drill down and nail that, you can adjust it to any environment. So that's why we focus on 60-second pitch. It also means that there's not much time as well. You don't have many words to use. So average amount of words in a 60-second pitch is about 150 words. So again, it's not a lot of words to use. And that's why the words you use are so important to be as impactful as possible. So what we're looking at today is the three key components of a 60-second pitch. So we've got content, structure, and delivery. And really, if you can nail these three key components, it sets you on your way to deliver a really good pitch. So first and foremost, looking at content of your 60-second pitch, what sort of words do you want to use in terms of your content? And the best advice for this is to keep it simple. Keep your content as simple as possible. You know, how many times have you been to a networking event, or you've basically asked another business owner what they do, and it sounds amazing, they use lots of lovely words and lots of jargon, but it sounds great, but actually you don't understand what they do, or you couldn't tell someone else what they do. It happens all the time. And this is why we say, when it comes to your pitch, keep it simple as possible. And the best way to do this is the 5-year-old test. So if you've got any kids at home or any nieces or nephews, pitch to them, tell them what you do. And if they can understand what you do, if they can understand what your business is, then anyone can. So that is the best piece of advice we can give in terms of your content, is keep it simple as possible. So things to avoid are acronyms, advertising speak, abbreviations, and jargon. And those sort of terms that may be well known in your industry. You may have abbreviations, you may have jargon that you're a sector specialist and you understand that. But if you're speaking to a customer or a stakeholder or anyone within your network, they might not understand. So that's the advice when it comes to the content, is really drill it down, keep it as simple and as clear as possible, so that a 5-year-old can understand it and anyone can understand it, and people will be able to then relay and communicate your business and what you do, and also understand how they can support you as well. So keep it simple as possible. Also, when you're pitching, these are some words to avoid in terms of banned words. So hopefully, probably, maybe, possibly, all these different types of words, they don't inspire any confidence in your business whatsoever. So, when you're coming to pitching, if you're in front of an audience or you're pitching in front of investors, you want to be confident. You don't want to take away from the credibility of your pitch. So avoid saying, oh, hopefully, we're going to get investment in a couple of years. We probably will go into this area. Be really confident and back yourself. You don't need to lie or mislead anyone, but just be confident and clear. And as I say, avoid using those words because they don't inspire any confidence. So if you hear yourself repeating those, then cut them out. And the best way to do that is get feedback on your pitch. So have someone listen to you, listen to the language you use, and ask for feedback. Do you think, does what the words I'm saying, does that inspire confidence? Is that really reflecting my business in the best light? So as I say, try and avoid those banned words. Now we're going to look at the structure of the 60-second pitch. And this is something that I can really encourage you to follow the structure and be really disciplined with it. This 60-second pitch structure has been means tested by thousands of entrepreneurs. It's proven to be successful in receiving investment and creating opportunities. So what I'd encourage you to be is be disciplined as possible with it, and follow it as much as possible. So the first element of the structure of a 60-second pitch that we're going to look at is a hook. So when you start your pitch, you want to create excitement, create interest in your business, get everyone's ears pricked up. And the best way of doing this is through a hook. So again, one of the most difficult parts of the 60-second pitch, but one of the most effective. So look at something that will grab the attention of your audience, something that will maybe shock them or surprise them, or an interesting statistic that really leads them in, gets them interested in your business. So give you an example of some interesting hooks. I work with a business in Belfast called Noisy Noel's Nuts. And Noisy Noel will start his hook, his 60-second pitch, by making as much noise as possible. So he will get a klaxon or an air horn and make as much noise as possible, because that rings true with his business. Noisy Noel's Nuts, he sells nuts. And if he's in a pitching competition up against 60 other businesses, he really stands out from the crowd. And, in a pitching competition, you might only remember 1 or 2 pitches. Everyone will remember Noisy Noel because of his hook. It makes noise, it creates interest. Now, that's just an example. I'm not saying to every single one of you, now go out and get an air horn and that's the best way to make as much interest about your business. It has to really reflect you and the values of your business. So I'll give you another example from the other end of the spectrum. I work with a business called Tap SOS, and Becca, the founder of Tap SOS, basically what that business is an app for the deaf community so that they can communicate with emergency services. So Becca's hook, she starts off using sign language. and again grabs the attention of the audience because it reinforces the challenge that her customers have with communicating with emergency services. So again, you've got an example there of making loads of noise, an example there of making no noise at all, but equally impactful and reflecting the type of business. So that's where I challenge you to look at your business's values, what you're all about, and how can you reflect that in a really strong hook that people will take away and grab their attention, remember. So think about that. It's, as I say, the hardest part, something to come up with. So you're not going to nail it straight away, but be creative, come up with ideas on how you could really engage your customers, engage your audience with a really interesting hook. So once you've hooked them in, then is to define the problem, the pain point in your business. So what is your customer's challenges? What's the pain? And really paint a picture for the audience. And again, remember, it's only 60 seconds. So can you really drill down what is the problem that you solve for your customers? And again, you might say to me, well, Nick, I solve loads of problems for my customers. Well, there's the challenge. Can you articulate all those problems in one really clear and succinct sentence? And once you've articulated the problem, then followed by what's your solution? So what is your business concept? What is the solution? As it says, where's the innovation? What makes you different? What makes you stand out from the crowd? Why should people buy it? What's the real wow factor in the solution? And what's the unique selling point? So again, just as similar as the problem is defined in one sentence, same with the solution in terms of defining that in one really clear and succinct sentence. And then following on from that is, what is the opportunity? So again, you've defined the problem, you've defined the solution, then what's the size of the opportunity? So what market are you working in at the moment? As it says there, numbers equal credibility. So demonstrating that you understand your numbers, you understand the size of the market, you've done your due diligence, you're an industry expert, really adding that credibility into your pitch shows a lot of expertise. Traction to date, again, probably one of the biggest elements that's left out of a pitch is, what have you done so far? What are your successes? What are your wins in this industry? Pitching is all about blowing your own trumpet and showcasing your successes. And it doesn't matter if you're an early stage business 1 year in or you're 10 years in, you'll have traction, you'll have successes. You may have been an industry expert beforehand. So bring out those skills and expertise to the fore when it comes to your pitch. And also you can include is demonstrating your understanding and awareness of the risks in the business, the risks in the environment. And this is especially important if you're pitching in front of investors to, you don't want to just paint a picture that everything's rosy. You want to show that you're risk aware and that you understand the challenges, but also that you're putting in factors to mitigate those risks and take on challenges as well. And then another aspect that's often forgotten in a pitch is your team. So who's in your team? What's their experience? What's their background? What's their real skill set? And what does the future of the team look like? So again, when talking about your team, you can include yourself. So include your own skills, experience, background, credibility, but also those of the team. Because again, it's the people that make the business. And if you're saying, well, if you're starting out and it's just yourself, as it says, think about the future of the team, but also think of the wider team as well. So what organizations, accelerators, growth hubs, mentors, partners, who are you partnered up? Who's the business partnered up with that really is going to add to its growth? So don't just think I'm only one person, I can't talk about my team. Think about all the different stakeholders that you work with in the ecosystem that help your business to grow, because again, that really adds to your credibility. And then the final aspect of a 60-second pitch, and again, the most important part is having an ask at the end of your pitch. There's no point telling anyone about how brilliant your business is and what it does, what's the solution, if you're not going to ask for an opportunity at the end. So think about an ask, and this is an aspect of your pitch that you can easily tailor and change depending on the audience. So you may be asking for funding. So if you're pitching to a room of investors, you may be asking for funding or help with funding or insight and education on funding. If you've got pitching in front of customers, you might be asking for sales. You might be asking them to check out a new product or a new service that you're developing, or signposting them to your website. And if you're asking for, if there's mentors in the room, you'll be asking for support, expertise, and insight. Because again, it's the best opportunity to ask when you've got someone excited and motivated and interested in your business. Follow up with that ask of support, because that's when most likely they're going to support you. So that's, again, a really golden bit of advice is always when you're pitching, have a really strong ask to finish off the structure. Because as I say, myself, Adam, Heather, the best entrepreneurs we see are those that are really go-getters and opportunity hungry and make the most of every opportunity that they get. So one way of doing that is by always asking for support in any given opportunity. So that's the pitch structure. Hook, problem, solution, opportunity, team, ask. I know you're probably looking at that and thinking, how can I get that in 60 seconds? One really good tool to look at, again, is Business Builder. Look at the community, look at the Facebook group. There's always lots of pitches going up in there. So look at how other entrepreneurs take on that structure as well. And it's a case of practicing the structure, recording yourself, and getting feedback from other stakeholders as how you can improve it, to really nail down that structure. So we've gone through the content, and we've looked at the structure of the 60-second pitch, and the final aspect that we're going to cover in today's session is the delivery of your 60-second pitch. So again, these are some tips in terms of when you're delivering your 60-second pitch. And one thing that I see a lot of the time, we do a lot of pitching competitions in NatWest, and one thing I see a lot is an entrepreneur come up in front of 60 other in the audience, and they're confident, but as soon as the spotlight comes down, their body language changes, their shoulders are hunched over, their head hits the ground, they're shuddering in their notes. And again, you could have the best content, the best structure, but if you don't come across well, it won't help your pitch. So these are a few really simple things to think about when you're pitching. So first and foremost, it's a performance, but not an act. So best advice, be yourself, be your true self, and people buy people. So let that come across in your pitch. If you're an extroverted person, that comes across in your pitch. If you're introverted, it can come across in your pitch as well. But be yourself. Don't try and act or behave like someone different, because you're up on the stage. So be yourself. And again, the rest of these bullet points are really simple aspects. But when the adrenaline starts and the pressure comes on, they can be the first things to go out the window. So don't forget to breathe, be yourself, smile, and speak slowly. That's one thing I always have to remember coming from Belfast. I can sort of rattle off very quickly. So speak slowly, and then body language as well is so important. So as I say, if you feel that your shoulders are hunching over, your head's coming over the ground, try and change those behaviors. Use your hands, engage the audience a lot more. So again, those are simple things that you do in your everyday life. But again, when you're pitching and the pressure comes down, it's simple things that you can forget. And then the final aspect of delivering a really strong 60-second pitch is that it's all about storytelling. So yes, we have the structure of the pitch, but the pitch should really take your audience on a story and reflect the story of your business, because that's what your individual business is. You all have your own story. You all have your own background of how you built the business, your why, your reason for starting the business. So really reflect that story in your 60-second pitch. And I'll give you another example of a really good story and a really good pitch. Is a business I work with called Madlug. So Madlug is called Make a Difference Luggage, and Madlug was started by a founder, again in Belfast, called Dave Linton. and Dave was a social worker, no experience in business or as an entrepreneur, but during his time in social work, he was working with kids in foster care, and he's seen the challenge there was that when they were moving from home to home, they had to take their belongings in black bin bags. So that was the problem that he's seen. And the solution he created was MadLug, Make a Difference Luggage. So what it is, it's a bag selling business. And for every bag that Dave sells, he donates one to a child in foster care. And that's his story, and that's his pitch, and that's what he rhymes off to his customers, takes the audience on that journey, on that background and the problem and the solution and how he built the business. And his ask is very simple, that you go out and check the social enterprise MadLug out and buy a bag, and it has that impact, and it's a really strong pitch, and it leads everyone to sort of follow in his business. So again, think about the story of your business, the background, the values of your business, and really take your audience on that journey. Because there's nothing more powerful than sharing your background and your story. So think about that when it comes to your delivery. So in terms of these workshops, you'll see if you come on any more of the sessions that we do, as Adam says, we run workshops every single week on the NatWest Accelerator and Business Builder. They're always action focused. And so one action that you can take away from today is that it's time to start writing your own pitch. So if you've got a pitch there already, it might be a case of refining it, or you might be for the very first time starting your pitch. So after today's session, I'd encourage you to put some time in your diary, straight after today. That's my ask from you, to actually sit down and say, right, write down my pitch. A few tips here, write the hook last. A lot of businesses can get stuck on the hook and not end up writing the rest of the pitch. So as I say, the hook can take time. You have to be creative with it, come up with ideas. So get the real basis of your pitch started first, and then think about how you can implement the hook. Record yourself with your new pitch, challenge yourself, come outside of your comfort zone and record yourself with that pitch, and give yourself feedback, observe yourself doing that. And if you're brave enough, share your pitch in the Business Builder Facebook group if you want to get some feedback from like-minded entrepreneurs who can let you know what you think. So that's what I say, get going with your pitch. Everyone on the call will be at different stages when it comes to your pitch. So if it's the very start, your first goal might be just writing it down, getting that 60-second pitch down, getting the structure and the content down. And then a goal after that will be, let's start practicing it. Let's go out to trusted advisors and practice, get some feedback, and really build it from there. Because it's, like everything else, pitching is about baby steps and building blocks, and building your confidence. And it's amazing. And the accelerator, we see it all the time. In 6 months, business owners go from avoiding pitching at all times to becoming really confident and being able to just rattle off their 60-second pitch at any time. So think about that in terms of what are the small steps that you can take to really, really build your pitch. And then, the opportunities that come from it are so valuable, because you can implement it in anything from funding to networking to your marketing to your sales with customers. It has so many advantages. So that's the action to take from today's session, is really look at building that pitch out over the next few weeks.